Good evening, everybody. 10:15 on a Monday evening. Just getting the start of the work week and still working yet today. So, wanted to give you a little bit of an update. Hello, Nancy. Uh, got a few things going on to bring up. Nothing significant. These cases won't move as fast as you might like them to. That's just human nature, and it's not uncommon. But nonetheless, it's moving. So, as you're aware, we got three cases. I'm reading over there. If you see me staring off to the side, make sure I don't miss anything. We got the three cases. We got the three restraining orders. There's a status hearing set on the 21st of February in the Effingham County cases. A status hearing is not significant, right? Status means what? Status. Tell the judge what's going on. Is there anything he needs to do, needs to know, etc. So that's kind of set. All right. We submitted in the White County case because it was, all of the defendants have appeared. It's a procedural issue. Don't worry about it. We submitted a bunch of discovery requests to Speaker Welch, President Harmon, and we sent a bunch of Governor Pritzker, and we sent a bunch of subpoenas out to every House and Senate sponsor that joined into that bill. So there was a lot of them. And also sent some discovery requests out to some other third parties regarding training and the like. So it's worth you guys knowing that there was a time to where, and I won't pick the individual defendants out. There's four of them. You got the governor, the attorney general, Speaker Welch, President Harmon. No, Carl, I don't need to do a FOIA request. This is a court case. I can just ask for the documents under the court procedures. I don't need a FOIA. But there was a desire at some point to hurry up and to rush and get this thing to the Supreme Court of Illinois in a very rapid fashion, which I didn't think was a good idea. There's a lot of reasons I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, I think it's a good idea that we ask a few questions of the defendants to explain themselves to the people of Illinois and our 5,000, almost 5,000 plaintiffs. Got a little questions you need to answer, right? So now all of a sudden, since we're asking these questions, they're not in such a big hurry anymore to get to the Supreme Court. And they're also not in such a big hurry to answer the questions, right? They don't seem inclined to want to get too excited about answering what we've asked them. So you'll hear me talking about some procedural delays that we'll have to deal with. They won't be very long. I think the defendants would like them to be a long time. And let me give you my thoughts because they can understand some of the things I'm thinking because they'll listen to this. Is that we have the federal cases going right now, and we're about ready to file our federal case. But federal cases don't get in a big hurry, you guys. So don't worry about that. But it's my belief that the legislature, which I'm going to call Speaker Welch and Senate President Harmon, they're the legislature. They're the Democrats in charge. They control everything. And Governor Pritzker, I think they generally understand that the federal courts are likely going to strike this law down. I think they understand that that's likely to be the case. Okay. Hold on a second. What do you mean you don't want to blast me here on live, Stacy, about representing somebody that has nothing to do with these cases? These cases are about my client's gun stuff, not about your personal issues. So to that extent, I'm not interested in taking on any additional cases. So don't be coming on here threatening to blast anybody because this has nothing to do with you or your family. With all due respect, it's inappropriate to be talking like that. So I'm not interested. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. So getting back to why people are actually here to talk about this. The federal courts, as I said, don't move as fast. So, but I think they all recognize they got a real problem in the federal courts, right? They didn't understand or didn't appreciate that we were going to bring these state court issues because these state court issues shed light on a lot of impropriety going on in our state government, right? Not just because they pass policies that you guys may not like or that I may not like. Set that aside. It's not a policy issue. It's a procedural issue that I'm raising they know it's a problem, and they know it's got people's attention because of what they've been doing with these games. They know it's a problem with equal protection, that they don't have anything to support carving out these categories, etc. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to answer that. And they would likely be perfectly fine if the federal courts under Second Amendment wipe this case out, wipe out this bill, this law, and then try to say, well, since we don't have to answer those state court questions because we, we've already been shot down in the federal court, so those issues are moot, right? That's possibly what they're thinking. And so they want to try to delay having to answer questions under oath, right? You have to swear under oath to answer these questions. I think they're going to try to delay that. And I'm going to do the best I can not to let that happen. Okay. Do everything we can not to let that happen. So, there's a little bit of a tussle going back and forth between the lawyers right now about, we want our questions answered and they want, additional time to answer them, and whether that's necessary or not necessary. So we're working on that. Does that make sense? So I'll keep you up to date on how the discovery process. No, Jim, that's a federal issue. That's not a civil issue, sir. There's no speedy trial in a civil case, Jim. That's a funny one. No, sir, there's not. So I'll keep you up to date on that. But again, we're going to get to the bottom of those questions because I think they know they're really in trouble, not just legally, but just optically, from an optics perspective about how this looks upon them, right? You got Speaker Welch and you've got President Harmon in the Senate, who have both certified this law, stated and certified under oath that this law passed constitutional procedural muster. They do it all the time, but again, this is one that's actually got a lot of your attention now, got the attention of the media, I can assure you. And I don't want to answer the questions that, yeah, we knew that it didn't, but we still certified it anyway. That's a problem, right? To have to say that publicly under oath. It's a real huge problem. They don't want to say that. So we'll keep pushing them on that. What else do we have? There's something else I want to talk to you guys about that I think is interesting because I've been stirring people up on purpose the last few days, and some of my friends on here that are conservatives, they get mad and holler at me. I don't care. It's funny. But when I said out of my mouth that I'm not certain that people have collectively the capacity to deal with certain things. And I got some wise guy thinking that I'm calling people stupid. I'm not calling people stupid. What I'm saying is that people are people and we're human. And for tens of thousands of years, how do human beings deal with things when they're scared, when they're uncertain? Do they sit down and deliberate intellectually what our options are and how we deal with things? No, we fight, right? Or we run, fight or flight. You guys learned that in 8th grade, right? That's what the capacity that I'm talking about. Do we as people have it in us not to constantly fight with each other back and forth over things that scare us or things that concern us for the future of our country or our families? Do we have the capacity to be deliberative, right? Will we rely upon legislative processes and governments to solve these problems when it really comes to butting of heads? I don't know. I'm not sure we collectively as people have the capacity to always rise above the fight or flight instinct in us as people and engage in deliberative process. I'm not sure we have it. I'm concerned whether we do, because you guys know what I'm saying is we as, I'm conservative, probably more moderate, but maybe conservative, certainly far right than, borderline moderates. The rhino Republicans like Jim Durkin of the North, I'm probably a hard right conservative compared to him. But, when we as conservative right-leaning people, we constantly on attack of liberals for the things they do and what they say and how they do things. But we're also kind of the same way where, we fight the same way they fight. It's just their ideas and principles are different than ours. And so we don't always see that we're engaging in some of the same behavior that they engage in. And that's okay. But it all goes back to the fight or flight mentality of human beings since we've been walking this planet, that's really what we reduce ourselves to when we get scared. And we just have to keep that in mind, you guys, as we're moving forward. We have to, at all costs, do the best we can. to engage in the deliberative process and intelligently debate these issues and use the system the way that it was intended to be used. And there may be a time in our society when those processes and procedures that our founding fathers put in place don't work anymore. It's possible, right? Down the road, hopefully a long ways. But for now, we need to try to rely upon them the most we can instead of just fighting and nasty stuff about each other. That was the point I was making. And again, that cerebral heavyweight that was trying to suggest I was calling people stupid, it doesn't know me at all. But let me see here. I want to see if I got any questions here. Yeah, Jerry, I'm not going to talk on that more. You say we have morality. That's the difference. I understand what you're saying. Again, and your and my morality may be similar. There are people that have different morals than us. I perfectly think that ours are better than theirs, but you're never going to get anywhere having those bickering back and forth. You got to do it in the legislative process. If you don't take that to the legislative process, just bitching about it on social media and fighting with each other and bickering, it doesn't get you anywhere, my friend. It gets you nowhere. So take that morality that you hold dear, and I respect you for that, and go get involved in your government. Because if you don't, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let me go. I'm going to go back down. I'm off my soapbox now, but I just had to say that because I don't ever accuse people of being stupid. I want to sometimes, but I don't. Okay. Cheryl Ann, that is an excellent question. Will any part of this case include data they use to determine that this ban will cut down on crime? Well, guess what I asked them for, Cheryl, in our discovery request? If they got any of those studies that document that, right? I don't think they do. But you know what? I asked them, and if the fact of the matter is they don't have any, that's an answer in and of itself. So yes, ma'am, I've absolutely asked for that stuff. Let me see here. I'll keep the pressure on them, Jim. Don't worry. I'm putting the pressure on them. Mark typically has good comments. Maybe they're in the process of correcting the procedural issues you put forth and create a different gun law. They might. I mean, if they want to pass a brand new law and procedurally do it correctly and not put all of those exemptions in there that are a violation of equal protection, go ahead. Pass that new law. It might deal with the state court issues we've raised, but you know what it doesn't deal with? It doesn't deal with, Mark, it doesn't deal with the Second Amendment issues. I just don't. I did an interview with a national news network yesterday, or maybe it was today. I'm sorry, I can't remember. And I laid all that out for them in detail. This gun bill is not going to survive the Second Amendment. It's not going to survive it. Not after the Bruin case. There's no way in heck that it's going to do that. So they can fix all these state court issues, Mark, that they want to fix. Go ahead and fix them. That'll prove that we were right. In the meantime, my 5,000 clients can go buy every weapon they want. So if you're listening and you're one of my clients, get the buy-in. You've got 148 FFL dealers that are willing to sell to you. So go out there and take advantage of the opportunity that you've got now with that injunction in place and exercise those rights and get your money's worth. Let me see here. Jenny, we're working on the Guardians of Liberty. Ryan's got to build that private network, as I told you, because Facebook's mad at us and won't let us do it. Under zero set of facts will the state of Illinois ever offer you any compensation for any alleged infringement of your Second Amendment or your fundamental rights to bear arms. They're not going to pay you anything. They don't think they're doing anything wrong. So no, they're not going to pay you anything. No, we're not going to pick up, is that Mr. Domino? No, there's not going to be any additional cases. It's, you know, for a variety of reasons, that's not going to be the case. So we're moving on with getting these cases resolved to a final ruling, which is where our energy is focused on. Laura, is it Chavone? People are exercising their rights quite well over here at Voodoo Firearms. Good deal, Voodoo Firearms. I like that name, so go get them. Go to our website and you can find a list of all 158 FFLs across 90 some counties in the state of Illinois, and 158, 148, something like that. And there's 5,000 or 4,713 individual citizens out there of you that want to go buy something. Like I said, go do it. Jim says 50 caliber, baby. Let's go. I told you, I'm not listed as a client in any of these cases, so I can't go buy anything. I'd be breaking the law. I'm not one to break the law, Jim. So you go buy one and maybe I'll look at it someday. No, I'm not going to push for all FOID deal card holders in the state to be free to buy. It's a bad legal process. It's not even really procedurally proper. The fact that most of you that are asking me that question got that all stirred up because Dan Calkins was out there spouting off like a politician that doesn't know what he's talking about has people confused, and I'm sorry about that. But no lawyer is going to go ask for a statewide injunction in a state court. They're not going to ask for it. It wouldn't be wise. The chances of getting it are pretty much zero. And so, again, it's not going to happen. Any of you that are not part of these cases and it's a state court remedy, it'll have to come at the end once we get to the Supreme Court, because no lawyer's going to go ask for a statewide injunction in a state court. And I apologize to you for Mr. Calkins getting you guys all bent up on that, going down that path. It was inappropriate. It was intentional or otherwise. It was bad conversation, and I'm sorry. Okay. Hey, my buddy Cam Miller, he's out here. You know, Cam's a lawyer, and you know, go call Cam. Cam knows me, I give him every document he wants. I'd give him all to anybody who wants them. So go see Cam. Jim, anytime you want to shoot it, let me know. I just might do that, my friend. Oh, that's a good question, Dusty. Dusty, excellent question. In case number 1 that was filed in Effingham County, the judge that resides in Effingham County is a judge named Chad Miller. Okay. When we actually got TRO number 1, Mr. Miller, Judge Miller, was not there that day, so Judge Morrison heard that TRO and granted it. When we filed case 3 in Effingham County, because we filed 2 cases there, Judge Miller was back in court, and so he actually granted the restraining order in case 3. All right. He must have looked at case 1, and for some reason he felt there was a conflict. Probably somebody in case 1 that's a plaintiff, he probably knows them. Maybe he's related to them in some fashion, whatever that is. So he said, you know, I can't really handle this case because of some conflict. He doesn't have to tell me what it is, and that's, I mean, it's fine. His judgment is sound. So what that means is that the chief judge of the 4th Judicial Circuit, which is the Honorable Judge Jarman, will assign a judge to case 1. Very well could be Judge Morrison, who did the restraining order. I don't know. Judge Jarman will make that decision. So there's nothing to be gleaned from the fact that he recused himself. It's not an issue at all. It's just that he felt that there was conflict, probably because he's related to somebody or knows somebody. That's all. Okay. Why didn't you file a lawsuit here in Cook County? Laughing. Yeah, you're funny, Mark. I think you know the answer to that question, wise guy. Will we get an end to this case before the beginning of the year? I'd like to say yes, but I can't guarantee that. I don't know the answer to that. Yes, your local, Chris, my boy Chris, talking about local regulations. Any local regulations that you have at the town level or county level have nothing to do with this case. So if you're a plaintiff in this case and there's a restraining order as it relates to this state law, any local ordinance or town or county that might deal with gun regulations is not impacted by this case, any of these cases whatsoever. it would still apply to you, Chris. Whether or not there's a cause of action to be brought to invalidate that local regulation is a separate independent conversation, my friend. If this case is still pending at the beginning of, again, you guys are getting ahead of me, but that's okay. You've been around long enough. If this case is still pending on January 1st, and if it's not resolved in some fashion by then, and that registry provision would kick in because the federal case, a federal case, I don't care what federal case, take this thing out, whether it's ours or otherwise, I don't care. You likely won't have to, almost certainly won't have to register under that provision. But let's save that. We guys, it's February. Let's worry about January 2024. Can you give me November maybe of 23 before we start talking about what we got to do in January of 24? Okay. But as of right now, no, you wouldn't have to. Okay. There's a White Castle down here, Cam. I don't need to go to Chicago to go to White Castle. Let me see here. I think that probably answers all of our questions. I'll comment to that briefly. Somebody on the over the kind said, well, how do I get a copy of those documents so I can give it to somebody to fill it? And again, my colleagues, I always assume they're competent, but just if you're a citizen out here, if you're going to get somebody to file one of these cases for you, I would never discourage you not to. Get somebody that's going to do the work and actually wants to understand and appreciate these issues, because it would not help our case to just have people, this is a legal term, yeah, it's joking for willy-nilly filing these things across the state. That doesn't help us. It can only hurt us, okay? So if somebody's going to go out here and seek that, just be prudent, be, thorough, be diligent. My friend Cam, who's on here, I understand that he would, but just don't go out here and start filling in blanks, guys. And because it's again, you can do whatever you want. I'm just, if I'm going to send anything of mine to a lawyer, it's going to be a lawyer that I hopefully can rely upon, that's going to take care of business and not do things that hurt the overall effort, if that makes sense, you guys. Okay. No burger is worth going to. I think that's about it. What can non-clients do to help in this matter? They can do what non-clients, what citizens should always do: be more involved in government, right? The Illinois General Assembly does what they do because nobody, for the most part, pays attention. It happens, right? And when I say nobody for the most part pays attention, I'm including Republicans in that as well as Democrats. So have you ever seen during any of these times that the super minority Republican is a collective Republican Party, whether it's the Illinois GOP, whether it's the super minority collectively, not some individual members who will raise issues? Have you seen them do anything? Have you seen that? You know who the minority House leader is? You know who the minority House leader of the Republican Party is in Illinois? Somebody type it over there if they know who it is. Anybody? Who is the Illinois super minority House leader in Illinois? I don't think anybody knows. How about who's the minority Senate leader in the state of Illinois for the Republicans? Who's that? Anybody know? Hey, John, Chad. Who said Darren? Darren's not even an elected official anymore. I'm not going to say it. Yeah. Tony McCombie. That's right. Tony's the super minority leader of the House. How about the Senate? Sue's a deputy, Sherry. She's not the leader, deputy leader. How about in the Senate? Anybody know who the Senate minority leader is? Durkin. No, Durkin's gone. He's not even in the representative. He retired, thank goodness. Anybody know who the Senate Minority Leader is? The new one. Oh, look at Michael. Michael got it right. No, Jason Plummer's a good friend of mine, Craig. He didn't want it. He didn't have time. Durkin's not even in the House of Representatives anymore, you guys. Come on, I'm playing this game along with you because I want to make you all informed citizens so you can start keeping track of your government. Mitch McConnell. That's funny, Mark. I'm not talking about Congress. That's right. Okay, it's John Curran. That's his name, John Curran. And again, Tony or John, have you heard them talking about any of these procedural issues that we've raised, that the courts have raised significant concerns and are all but saying, Supreme Court, you need to take this issue up, put an end to it? Have you seen them say anything? Not a damn thing, right? Not a damn thing. What's that tell you? You guys figure it out for yourself. Because again, going back to what I said before, I don't assume anybody's stupid. Maybe just not quite as active as they should be. You don't have, these Republicans aren't saying anything about these procedural games that are destroying your constitutional rights. Nothing. Why? Why don't you all call Tony tomorrow? She's already mad at me because I called her out for some other reason. I don't care. Why don't you call her and ask her how come she's not talking about this? Ask her. Call John Curran. Ask him why he's not talking about it. These procedural games are going to continue to destroy this state unless somebody puts an end to them. And guess what? My 4,900 or so clients are the ones that had to bring these issues forth into the public eye and into a courtroom because your Republican representatives wouldn't do it. Elbow rubbers. That's, I know. Oh, there's my boy. Republicans won't speak up. No, they might lose their cookie crumbs if they speak up. At least the men in the Eastern Bloc, you know, you got Chris Miller and Adam Nieberg, and Dan Calkins, and Blaine Wilhauer, and Brad Hallbrook, and I don't know if I'm missing anybody. Jed Davis. They'll speak up, right? But they're out there been ostracized even by the rest of the mainstream Republicans in the House and the Senate. I don't even talk to them. Why? I don't know. But collectively, the Illinois superminority Republican Party is useless. That's why they're in the superminority, because they don't have anything for people to believe in. Nothing. And they get mad at me. They think, I don't care. They're not going to help you. They're not going to help you at all. They might lose their money from the Illinois Education Association, the teachers' unions that gives them their biggest financial contributions. They don't want to lose that. So they, God forbid, they would represent the Republican platform. They don't represent the Republican platform. Jed's my boy. Yeah, Jed Davis is my boy right there. Okay, I got on my soapbox about politicians. You guys did it to me. So as it relates to our cases, we got 3 TROs, 3 restraining orders, 2 in Effingham, 1 in White County. Covers all named plaintiffs. Our 148 FFLs that are in those 3 cases have a searchable database of all 4,713, give or take, citizens that are plaintiffs in case 1, 2, or 3. They can look your name up. They might ask you to provide some other documentation. That's fine. Go see them. If you're one of the 4,700 some people, you are, right now is your opportunity for the foreseeable future to go and buy something that you were forbidden to do on January 10th. Go get her done. Okay. That's what you should do. And the 148 FFLs are ready to work with you. So that's a good thing. We're working on the discovery. We'll keep pushing on the discovery. We got a couple of other procedural issues we're working on too. We'll keep doing with that. We're working on the federal stuff too. Again, the federal stuff is a slow roller, doesn't work real fast, right? Which is, you know, maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, if we would only file the federal case, well, you wouldn't be able to do anything right now, right? But now there's 4,800 of you that are free to exercise your rights because we went to the state court. There you go. I'll keep you up to date, okay? I think that's all we got. I'm going to go get me an ice cream. Love you guys. Take care.